for me, for the white people that I grew up with, the vast majority of the listeners of this podcast, I imagine, are white. What can we do, in your opinion? How can we help you guys? How can we help the Black community with your visions of the ideal world that you guys want to live in? What can we do?
Well, it's almost like if you want to help, whether you are the type of white person who is like completely oblivious to everything racially, have those conversations with Black people whom you trust and whom will give you, straight and direct answers, because being uncomfortable in the conversations are understandable, because I personally don't expect a sheltered white person who hasn't really met many diverse people. I don't expect them to know all the racist things that are go on in a day-to-day setting. So go be in those uncomfortable conversations in those situations, because you'll learn something. And then you'll be like, all right, well, this really resonated with me. I want to go help change this. Whether it's starting something, a nonprofit, something huge like that, or whether it's something as simple as taking what you've learned from those conversations and telling those conversations to your other white friends who are up in arms about all this stuff and they disagree. Helping change the minds of those white people can go a long way. Because you'll see stories here and there of like, oh, ex-Klan member turned activist wants to support the Black community. And like, on his face, that sounds like it probably will never happen. But who knows? Maybe that guy had an awakening one day and was like, you know what? I'm doing too much hateful things. I need to change. So being in those uncomfortable conversations, extending yourself, and even starting the conversation with, look, I'm a white guy. I'm a white girl. I don't know what I need to know, but I want to learn. You'll be able to find someone who can educate you on those type of things. Because the hardest step is ingratiating yourself into the conversation, because it's such a hard conversation to have. Because it sounds crazy to say, oh my God, you mean to say that, like, if I say you people, that's racist? Yes, of course it's racist. But I also understand you don't know that it's racist because it's something that you've never been educated on. And there is the bridge. So being in those uncomfortable conversations, the next time you have another one, you'll be way more comfortable. You'll be way more comfortable asking certain questions that you might be timid on asking in the first place.
Yeah.
So just being in that uncomfortable world that Black people live in every day, it can go a long way. And I tell a lot of white people who want to have those conversations are kind of like timid on it. I'm like, just ask the question. Because, yeah, it might feel as though you're putting an unnecessary burden on a Black person to have to teach you something that is wrong. But if you want to learn, all you have to do is ask. And being uncomfortable is something that, people don't want to do. But once you get past that step, I feel as though the whole conversation can turn into something great.
So you mentioned that we're pretty much just at the tip of the iceberg in terms of creating lasting, meaningful change here. I think a lot of people have been upset over the last year with the lack of progress because people want the whole iceberg to be done away with. But this is just kind of how change works. I mean, keep in mind, it is year 2021, the Civil War, 1860s, Emancipation Proclamation, freeing some slaves, 1863. 102 years later, the Civil Rights Act passes. Change takes a long time. The change that me and you want to see will not happen in our lifetimes. I just think that's a fact. Things are slow moving. Everyone wants things to happen really quickly, but it takes the kind of change that we want takes governments passing laws, and you know how hard it is for governments to do that these days. So fully knowing this, the way that I try to make change on a everyday level, on an individual basis, is just be nice. Like, just be nice to everyone. I think that's the best thing that I can do, honestly. I mean, I know I said earlier that the whole virtue signaling thing, that I wouldn't share it, but I will share this story because I would like other people to do it too. Remember the day last summer when the NBA, I think it was the Bucks, walked off the court. They said, we're not playing today. So I was super emotional that day. I was going to my favorite sandwich shop in Southington. You should go there. Its name's escaping me, but I'll tell you about it. Like Avenida or something. You should go there. Great place. But anyway, so I'm in line there. I'm getting a sub, and the lady in front of me is black. And she's buying a couple subs, cookies, desserts. It's clear that she's throwing some type of event or something. And so, you know what? I step in front of her as she's about to pay, and I'm just like, no, like, here, take my card. You like pay. I don't even care how much it is. Just pay for it. And she's like, no, you do not have to do that. And I say, yes, I do. It's the absolute least I can do for you based on what we have done to the Black community for hundreds of years. Please. It's things like that I would love other people to do, to show that we're here for you, that we care for you, that we are right alongside you. And so in the meantime, while we are trying to spark this big change so that everyone is truly equal in the eyes of the law, those are things we can do.
Yeah, like even something simple as that, like that type of stuff goes a long way, because someone else in that store saw that.
Right.
And that turns into a story of like, oh, let me tell you what I saw today at the sub shop. I'm going to go I'm inspired to go do something like that. Whether it's paying it forward to a Black person, a Spanish person, someone who looks like you, just doing something for somebody else, it creates a better atmosphere and a better vibe for you. So it's like, why wouldn't everybody want to feel, like they're doing something good? So change will come. I truly believe a lot of the generations that are coming up now who are seeing how ridiculous the world is, those kids are going to be the people who are really going to push forward the bills and things that we need to get done. Because like we talked about earlier, like change, especially within the government system, has to come from the local level first.
Yep.
You can't change a system from the top down. You got to change the foundation and let it trickle up. Because once you change the local levels, those local guys can now, work their way up to being leaders of the country. So now it's dope though. I hope her food was good.